Should I go home? Should I stay? Germany was closing some of its borders. I go back and forth in my mind. I really don't know what to do at the moment. Buenas tardes everybody and welcome to another video on my channel. I am Chrisi and I'm currently spending my semester abroad in Spain. So I've been staying here in Spain for 7 weeks now, and let's just say the first 5.5 weeks I would say were pretty normal. And everybody of you knows what happened then, the big coronavirus outbreak, schools got shut down, and I made a video about that like 10 days ago, but since then the situation has dramatically changed even more. So this is kind of an update for me. Currently I am still in Spain, but of course I'm kind of questioning, should I leave, go back to Germany, or should I stay? But let me just quickly update you on everything that happened since I uploaded my last video on this coronavirus situation. So I filmed this last video on Tuesday the 11th and schools closed starting from Wednesday the 12th. Also on that Wednesday, I believe, don't call me out on the day or two, but I think on that Wednesday it was announced that museums would close and zoos would close and restaurants would close and all events were cancelled. Also, everybody was asked to try and work from home if that's possible. So by Friday, in Spain, in that small city I'm living in, it's a small city near Madrid, it basically looked like it was vacation time. There were a lot of people walking or on their bikes because this is a small town where I'm living and it's surrounded by a lot of countryside. So of course it makes sense. Also because the weather was very, very good on that day that people would go out and do some activities like, as I said, biking, walking, whatever. So also on that Friday I already heard first rumors about Spain planning a curfew so that we couldn't go out anymore, and on Saturday that one was officially announced and it started on Sunday. So since last Sunday, I think that must have been the 14th or 15th of March, I'm not sure, there was this curfew active, meaning that we were not allowed anymore to go out if it wasn't absolutely necessary. And absolutely necessary means working, grocery shopping, supporting people who need help, walking your dog, stuff like that. But like things like walking or physical activity outside, even if you were alone or on the countryside, like I could be here, were not allowed anymore for 2 weeks. Already on that very first day, where it was announced that schools were about to close, a lot of Erasmus students went home immediately. And I have to say, in the first moment, I couldn't really understand on why you would go home. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me to like immediately leave the country. So of course, with further developing restrictions and with time, I could understand like that more and more people were leaving. But I have to say, on that very, very first day, it seemed unreasonable to me. So it was this morning, and today, as I already mentioned, it's Friday the 20th March. The last student from my university campus back home in Germany left. So I think from my campus in Germany, we were 9 people going to Madrid, split onto 2 universities, and the last one left this morning or yesterday evening, something like that. So I am from my campus university in Germany, the last one left, the last one that decided to stay in Madrid. Which leaves me a little bit insecure, of course, because we were having this WhatsApp group to support each other if any of us needed help, and we all stayed in Madrid. We were all in the same semester abroad situations and we would help each other out if there was something serious. It leaves me insecure to not have that anymore. Everybody is at home now except for me. As I already said, I first decided to stay because, well, I had several reasons for that, but I think one main reason was that I didn't really want to run from the one curfew into the other one, because Germany at the moment is like that close to getting a curfew as well. And for me it didn't really make sense to like leave Spain, run to the other curfew in Germany, and then, you know, maybe the one in Spain ends and I'm like trapped inside double the time. Also, one other reason is that life in Germany would not be so much different from life in Spain at the moment. And also life in Spain right here, right now, feels a lot like vacation, to be honest. Because when I have semester vacation, I spend a lot of time inside and like spending a lot of time on my laptop. I work on my laptop, my hobbies are on my laptop. I spend my free time on my laptop. And sometimes, yeah, occasionally I go out because that's very important to me, like to go skating or running or walking, anything like that. But that is really like the only thing that I am missing at the moment, is that I am not allowed to go out for, as I said, walking, running, skating. But except from that one thing, life is very normal. And also because I'm living in a small town, it doesn't seem very reasonable to forbid people to go out because we have this amount of countryside. You could go walking for 3 hours and not meet a single soul. spending a lot of time on social media these days, I really see that life in Germany weirdly seems to be very like vice versa to life in Spain at the moment, because Germany does not have an official curfew yet. And as I said, they're like this close to getting it. Some parts of Germany have already introduced that, but not all of them. And I only like hear from people or see pictures of people in Germany hanging in parks and don't keep any distance in supermarkets. And in Spain here it is very, very different. So on that day where the curfew started here in Spain, I went for a run because I didn't know the curfew was introduced already. And I only noticed how respectful people were. They were taking a step to the side. I was taking a step to the side to like make the distance between us a little bigger, and then we would like nod at each other, you know, to thank the other one for showing that kind of respect. Also, I noticed that in the supermarkets, you know, when you're standing in a path, some people would like take another path, and I would do the same thing. So people are really like keeping their distance here. And in Germany that seems to be very different. I mean, I've heard from friends in Germany that people in the supermarkets are like still bumping into each other because they are literally not keeping the distance. It's very like weird to hear about how we are in the same situation but acting so different. But going back to that original question of this video, will I stay in Spain or will I leave? As I said, at the first moment when they announced the school closings, I wanted to stay. When they announced cancellation of events, I wanted to stay. When they announced restaurants and everything would close, I wanted to stay. But as soon as the curfew was announced, I have to say that was the first moment that really got me questioning. A couple of days later, I also like heard in the news that Germany was closing some of its borders and you could only come back to the country if you were a German citizen. So that's not a problem for me, but still, you know, closing of more and more borders is also something that leaves you insecure. Also, more and more flights are cancelled. Germany is ordering like some special flights to certain places to get people to come back to the country. But as far as I know, that is only for travelers. And I don't know if I should consider myself a traveler. I mean, sort of, yes, I am, but I'm more of an Erasmus student. I am not planning to stay here for 2 weeks, but for like 4 to 5 months. So I really don't know about what Germany is planning for their students abroad. On top of that, we don't really get information from our home university. We got some information from our home university about the acknowledgement of our Erasmus semester, but not about the recommendations on whether we should come home or not. So technically, of course, I could contact authorities myself. I don't exactly know which ones, but I'm gonna like do some research on that. But the thing that I am wondering about is that I think it would be like an immense amount of mails and phone calls if every student would contact authorities in Spain and Germany themselves. So I kind of feel like the university should be responsible for that, contact the authorities and then forward that information to the students abroad. But apparently our university is not doing that, so I guess I will have to do some research on my own. That situation, like that lack of information coming from my university, leaves me a little bit insecure and at sometimes also like maybe a little bit angry. I just don't know what to do. Like, should I go home? Should I stay? There's never been like a situation like that before, so it's not that I can look at another situation and then base my decision on that. I have really like no idea what is the best thing to do. From my gut feeling, I would have to say it may be irrational, but I would really like to stay. It would be irrational, but it would sort of feel like giving up if I leave this country now. Also, if Spain would in a week decide to like loosen its curfew, I could go hiking or skating again, and then I would feel very comfortable here again. For some of you that may sound very weird, because for some of you maybe isolating is like the hard thing to do. But I'm not one of those people. I am a person who is like very okay with being alone for a while, and really not being able to go out is for me the harder thing to do. Also, I have realized that actually I think I have more social contacts at the moment than normally, because I'm really not good at opening a conversation, and with coronavirus you immediately have a topic to talk about. Also, there's people checking in on me, I am checking in on other people. So at the moment I really feel like I have more social contacts and conversations than normally. So that lack of information and the fact that I'm not allowed to go out are really the only like things that make me very uncomfortable. So right now I really don't know what decision to take. I am really like lost. I have I go back and forth in my mind. I really don't know what to do at the moment. On the one hand, I would really like to stay, but on the other hand, I really don't want to run into a situation where I'm like trapped in a foreign country. And also there's on the one hand the thing that I am really an optimist. I really look out for the better things, hope for the best that could happen. But on the other hand, I have read some articles this morning saying that the coronavirus is really probably not something that will accompany us for weeks, but rather months. So I feel like it's also an internal battle of being rational or irrational. So conclusion of this video, to answer your question, will I stay or will I go? I have no idea. I have literally no idea what to do, but of course on this channel I will keep you updated if there's any major changes. If I will leave, I will keep you updated on that. But for the moment, I'm here. And for the moment, I have 2 other videos in the making. So if you don't want to miss out on them, subscribe to this channel. I'd be very happy about that. Hit the like button for this video if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, check out my other videos. Have an amazing day. Stay safe, stay home. Hasta luego and bye.